Okay, so here's how we make proxies. So to start with, you need to have your gcloud folder. First thing you need to do is just open the config, and you can either choose to open this in like Notepad or whatever. I like to use a program called Brackets. You can get it yourself, it's free. Just Google Brackets, you can download it. So open it with this, and then you'll have this kind of thing. I've changed a couple of my things in here, so I'll show you what I've changed. So when you first get it, it will say IP here. Dependent on the bot you're using, most bots use a sort of user pass system, so you want to change it to login. You want to change this bit from IP to login. Don't worry about the second line. This line here, this is going to be your username for your proxies, and this is going to be the password for your proxies, so you can change this to whatever you want. So for this I'm just going to say test1 for the username, and I'm going to make it test2 for the password. Then I'm going to save that and then close that. Okay, next thing we're going to do is go on to Google Cloud Console. On this account I've made a number of projects, made 5 projects. I suggest you also make 5 projects, and I'll get to that later as to why you should make 5 projects exactly. But basically I'm just going to be showing you how to make proxies. I'm not going to be showing you how to make the server and stuff as well, because that's pretty self-explanatory. So here we are, Proxies host. This is where I like to run my Ubuntu instance from. So I'm going to go create a VM instance, create, just set it to the region you want your proxies to be created in. So I'm going to do mine in Northern Virginia, and I like to set it to US East 4B, as this isn't as demanded, hasn't got as high as demand as C does. Don't worry about these, because it's very low demand. And then I changed the system to 16.04 LTS. Then change the firewall settings, tick both these boxes, and then create. So while that's creating, you need to go and open WinSCP. If you haven't got this already, just Google WinSCP, or I might just put the link in the description, and then just go and download it. Okay, and then I've got the IP here, so I'm just going to copy the external IP, not the internal IP. Then, so I've Control-C to copy, now doing Control-V to paste. You can see a little space here on the end, make sure you get rid of that, because that can mess things up. Username needs to be root, just like that. And then the password, if you followed my video on how to create the whole proxy system on Google, then you'll be able to figure out how I then do this next bit. So I'm just going to go and find the private key. I think this one is this, and then login. There you go. Then there you go. So that's all set up now. So now there's a connection between this server here and my computer. So I'm going to just drag and drop the gcloud folder into the server files. So this is all server side here, and this is all computer side here. So I'm in gcloud now. I'm just going to open the readme, and there you go. So first thing we do is just copy this first line. You can copy it with a space on the end. It actually speeds up the process a little bit, because once you've opened the console by pressing this button here, you'll get this sort of console system here. So what I've done is I've copied, Control-C to copy, then a right click in the console to paste, and then because I've already left a little space at the end, this sort of like automatically hits enter for you, so you have to keep clicking enter, which saves a little bit of time. Then I'm going to get the next line ready, Control-C, and then just paste it, and then this last line I'm going to get ready, Control-C, and paste that as well. So these do take a little bit of time. So the next part, we skip out the edit file, because it's last instruction, it's saying to edit the file, and then the file we need to edit is this one here. So just copy this, and then right click to paste it again. You'll get something different this time. You sort of get, it doesn't sort of like start doing something. What you need to do is literally edit the file as the instruction said here. So you scroll all the way down to the bottom. Do this by hitting the down arrow key, and then add another space by hitting enter. Then you need to add these commands in there. So if you just copy all of these three, Control C to copy, right click in the console to paste, click enter to create a space. I don't think you have to do this, but I tend to do it by habit anyway. Then to get out of this bit, you do Control and X, then you click Y for yes, then you click enter to finish this bit, and there you go, that bit's now completed. So the next bit we do is we follow this step here. So it says now you need to reboot the server with the following command. So the command is reboot, so Control C, then I'm just going to right click in here, and I'm going to click enter, and then you're going to get this message here. Oh no, is that an issue? No, it's not, it's fine. Basically the server's rebooting, so obviously there's going to be no connection between your computer and the server while it's doing this. So what I tend to do is I tend to just leave this, I don't click any buttons or anything. Then when it's rebooted, one of these boxes will disappear, and then you can sort of crack on. So I'll just show you how we do that. So as you can see, it reconnected with that little screen there, so you know that's reconnected now, so just click OK. Because it's rebooted, you can't keep using this console, so it says inactive at the top. So just quit that, and then we just reopen the connection by clicking this, and then we're back. Here we are, okay? So next we need to do this bit, which is include Google Cloud SDK. So start with this line here, Control C, right click, Control C, right click, Control C, right click, Control C, right click, and just carry on doing this. And then this last line here, Control C again. And then once it's done with that last line, I'll paste this in. There you go, so that's now done, that last line. So we're going to paste this one in, gcloud in it, and then you get this. So it's asking you what you want to do. So you should click 2 for login with a new account. That's sort of like some random account, so just log in with your own new account. Then it says, do you want to continue? Just press Y for yes. Then you've got this bit here. So what you need to do is you need to copy this and then paste it into your browser. So how do you copy this text? It's really simple, you don't need to click anything on your keyboard. Just get your mouse and then just select all of this text. Doesn't matter if there's gaps, space at the top or bottom. Just open a new tab, Control V, and then it's pasted in, and then click enter. And then just sign in. And then you get this code here. Copy this code. And then right click to paste it back in here. And then enter. And then you've logged in. And then it will show you all of your projects which are available. So I'm going to use number 4, which is Proxies. You can set a default compute region and zone, so I'm going to click yes. So the region I'm going to use is US East 4B, so that's number 5. And then let it do its thing. Okay, so that's now done. So I'm going to go back to this README. So now we need to set the Crontab Cron Job even. So you copy this bit in the quotations, right click, enter, and then you just follow the instructions. So it says number 2 is easiest, so let's follow the easy option. Then you need to copy this line here. So selected it, Control C to copy, go back onto the console, use a downwards arrow to go all the way down, add a space by hitting enter, right click to paste, and then you can just do Control X. Then you can do Y for yes, and then you just do enter to complete that, and that's done. So now that's all installed, you can create your proxies. So if you just do Google Create, so I've copied Google Create from there, I'm just going to right click here, there we go, and it's asked me where I want to make the proxies, so I'm going to select Ashburn, Virginia. I'm going to use B, and then I'm just going to say I want to make 8 here, so I'm just going to let that make the proxies. So there you go, the proxy is made there. So if you then want to create some new proxies, say for example your limit on a project is 8 because you haven't been able to increase your quota limit, which is quite common. It's very difficult to do that now. So all you can do is you go back to this command here, gcloud init, and then as I said earlier, it's useful to create 5 different projects, and the reason for that is so that when you do run out of your quota in one project, you can then just so you just copy and right click that into the console, and then you can just reinitialize this configuration with new settings. So that's number 1, because I'm using the same account, I'm just using a different project. So number 1, and then that's the Google account which I was using, and then I can select a different project this time. So I used proxies earlier, so I'm going to use number 2 this time, my project 123. Then you can configure a default zone, so I'm just going to select number 5 again, US to East 4B. And that's all done now. So now I've selected a new project. You don't need to do any of these steps after that, because that's already been set up from the initial setup. So now you literally just do exactly the same thing. Go onto Google Create, copy using Control-C, and then right click into the console. Then click Enter to run that command. Then you select your location, Ashburn. Then number 2, how many servers do you want to create? So I'm going to say 8 again. There you go, so that's all the proxies created again. Then to access the proxies, all we have to do is just go back out of here on the server side. So make sure you're on the server side of the WinFCP, then just click refresh, and then it will give you the proxies that you've created. So this is the first batch that I made, that's the first 8. And you can see that's the username test1 and that's password test2. You can change that to whatever you want. And then this is the second batch of 8, which I created the second time around using the same account but using a different project. So yeah, that's basically it.